He helps her when she was in danger. She sues him for the trouble. We've got a video for you here today from the Modern King. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in, and let's get into it.
A man saved a woman who was on the verge of being hit by a car, but was charged with sexual harassment because he made inappropriate contact with her. Police in Los Angeles said 32-year-old Daniel Reed noticed Jessica Moore stepping into the street while looking at her phone. A car was racing toward her seconds away from impact. Daniel reacted instantly, grabbing her and pulling her out of the way just before the vehicle passed. Surveillance footage later confirmed that his actions had prevented a major accident. However, Jessica later filed a complaint stating that Daniel's actions were inappropriate and violated her personal boundaries.
For any woman who whines about men not helping women anymore, this is exactly why. Even when we try to do the right thing and protect these women from themselves, by the way, we still get sent to court so that she can get a quick payday to compensate herself for her own stupidity.
Her legal team argued that no one has the right to touch another person without consent, even in an emergency situation. The case has triggered nationwide debate. Millions online argue that Daniel should be recognized for his quick thinking rather than punished for it. Others insist that physical boundaries must still be respected regardless of intent. Legal experts say the case will likely hinge on intent and public morality, raising questions about where the line should be drawn between consent and heroism. Daniel has maintained that his only intention was to save a life.
Assuming this video is actually real, if you take a closer look at the camera footage, that woman was wearing massive headphones and just staring at her phone. The only way she wasn't going to get hit by the car is if that man ran in and got her out of the way. But apparently it's still his fault for not helping her the right way, of course.
The guy should start in jail and have to work his way out.
Absolutely.
I think
love that idea.
Because it's like you need to earn your place out here.
You do.
In my opinion.
You do. And it should be treated as if they're on probation for a while. Like one strike, you're back.
Yeah, even when they're out. Yeah.
This is exactly why men don't bother with women anymore. Women expect us to be traditional in every possible way, but they can turn around and say that we deserve to be put in jail simply because we were born. And this is somehow seen as reasonable. It's messed up.
Men actually benefit from marriage more than women do. And when you look at the statistics of like post-divorce mental health outcomes, men have worse mental health outcomes than women. Women are typically happier after divorce. And so if you want to argue that marriage disproportionately benefits women, like that's not true.
I'd be pretty unhappy too if I was on child support or alimony and I had a hard time seeing my kids.
And you had to support your children. What a hard life.
Well, you understand that it's not taxed. So the problem is they take over 50% of the man's income.
Just listen to how condescending she sounds. That father wants to support his children, but he needs the court's permission to see them, and he's forced to have half of his income sent to the ex-wife, who may or may not be using that child support to actually support his children.
Because it's not, so they have to pay taxes on the stuff they're giving her and take half of his paycheck.
To support his children that he wants to be involved in their lives.
Right, but it wasn't his choice because women leave the majority of the time.
It is his choice to relinquish his parental rights if he wants to.
What I'm saying is many men want to be married and they want to be an involved father and they want to stay with the mother of their children. My point is if she makes the decision to leave, she should pay for it. If you want to leave, that's totally fine, but you should pay to raise your kid.
Is it not his child as well?
The two options that she's posing are insane. Either give up half of your assets and half of your wages to support your children, or sign away all parental rights to the kids that you want in your life. In what world is that seen as reasonable or even fair? And let's be honest, guys, the woman is not entitled to the resources, and even if the man were to give the resources, they probably wouldn't be going to the children mostly anyway.
And he should pay for the time. That's why I said 50-50 custody off the bat, no child support, no alimony.
So she gets to take on all of the child care responsibilities, but he doesn't have to like pay anything. He doesn't have to have any buy-in.
I didn't say all, I said 50-50 custody. He should have the kid half the time.
But doesn't have to pay any money towards it.
No, he should pay for the kid when the kid's at his house.
Okay, and so the majority of the time when the kid is at the mother's house, he doesn't have to be involved in any way financially?
No, she should pay for it. She has a job.
It's called 50-50 custody for a reason. That means he's responsible for half of the child support expenses and the mother is responsible for the other half. And if that's too much for her to handle, she can sign away her parental rights to the father, just like she described.
Why should he have to pay for a kid?
He should support it.
If she chose to have the kid and she chooses divorce, why should she not have to pay for her own decision?
And
That's the thing. See, there it is. You want all the freedom to do whatever you want, but you don't want to have to pay for it.
This isn't about financially supporting children. This is about hurting the ex-husband. It's bad enough he's being forced to go through this, but it's made worse that it's being done by the one woman he trusted above all others. It's truly disturbing.
Has anybody else noticed how many women want a good man until it requires her to be a better woman? Then suddenly she's not interested. Suddenly it's, I'll find a man who will accept me just as I am. No, if you want a good man, sometimes that means you have to become a better woman. I've been in a relationship for 2 years, I'm engaged, and I'm working at becoming a better woman all the fucking time. Why wouldn't you? I saw a video earlier today where a guy asked a woman what a woman should do to take care of a man in a relationship, and she was baffled.
The insane amount of hate towards men has gotten to the point where a man must go above and beyond the call of duty just to have a woman be nice to him for 5 seconds, and that's only if he works insanely hard and she's willing to put in that much effort.
Dumbfounded that he would even ask that question. I mean, who is raising these girls? Like, they really just think that their don't stink and that they are God's gift to this earth, and any man who she allows to touch her should be grateful. No, if you want a good man, sometimes that requires you to become a better woman. And the same goes vice versa. You want a good woman, become a better man. It's very simple. Say that to a woman, though, and suddenly it's, I'm a victim.
A lot of modern women believe that they are the victims because they were raised to believe that they were perfect in every single way, and anybody who questions that is evil and just wants to hurt her for some reason. This mere idea of nobody's perfect has never once crossed their minds.
I went on a date last night, and every time I go on a date, it just makes me more and more grateful for the choices that I made in my life up to this point.
What kind of choices, you might ask? You may think that you know, but this is no ordinary woman. She comes from a completely different culture. Watch this video and listen to her speak Womanese. It's a very distinct language. Unfortunately, very few men can understand it, so I'm going to act as translator.
I just started seriously dating again after, in January, I took a long hiatus. I didn't really date anyone seriously last year.
Womanese is kind of a difficult language to translate, but if a woman says, I didn't date anyone seriously last year, of course, that doesn't discount situationships, regular hookups, and one-night stands. If that was the case, she would have said that she'd been celibate, and that's obviously not the case here.
Now, you might think that a woman of her age can't afford to take time off dating because she's approaching infertility. But in Womanese culture, biology has been ruled to be a sexist invention of the patriarchy. They passed a law granting all women infinite time to reproduce, so she's not worried.
And this guy was tall, he has a good job, he's attractive, he owns property, he seemed like he had everything going for him.
Tall, attractive, good job, owns property. He has everything going for him. In our language, that phrase might mean that he's kind, he has good values, good personality. But in Womanese culture, the only qualities that men are rated by have to do with looks and wealth. Men don't exist outside of those categories.
He just described Chad. That's the type of man that modern women feel entitled to, and those are the exact same types of men who will never get with her long-term anyway. He's not going to give up his bachelor lifestyle for a woman who feels like he owes her a relationship.
So we were talking, and I was just we are just not compatible. Because I was talking to him, and he's basically well, what's your priority right now in your life? And I'm I'm my priority. What do you mean? What else would my priority be? My job and growing and myself, I'm my priority.
See, the man actually made a big misstep here because that question that he asked her was very culturally insensitive. Asking her about her priorities shows how uneducated he is about Womanese culture. He should have done his homework because the only priority for Womanese women is themselves.
There's also the fact that if you take one look at her face, you can tell that she's never given any serious thought to what she wants out of life, and the mere idea of being asked that question is so offensive that she needs to shame the guy for even asking that.
In Womanese culture, there is no other possible answer to that question, and that's why she's so surprised. Of course she is her only priority, and he really should have known that. Big red flag.
And he was telling me how, all of his friends have kids, and he's, one of the only single people. And I was how old are you? And he's 33. I was that's crazy because every single one of my, I hardly know anyone married.
He's 33 and his friends are married with children. That seems normal and age appropriate to us, but then why does she seem so surprised? It's because in Womanese culture, women mature very, very slowly.
That's not entirely accurate. In her culture, women don't really mature at all. They keep all of those negative childish traits and cling onto them even as they get older. That's why they crash out and throw temper tantrums the second somebody tells them no.
They're not rushed like women are in different cultures. To us, the idea of using your 20s to travel, to grow, to learn about yourself, and then in your 30s think about partnering up, starting a family, having children, that seems normal. But in Womanese culture, women are so unique and special that 1 decade is not possibly enough time for her to truly get to know herself. She needs her 30s, her 40s, and even beyond to still be dedicated to self-exploration. That's how special she is. She needs that time.
And the funny part is, even with all of that extra time to explore and quote-unquote find herself, she ends up getting more and more confused, bitter, and jaded. They waste literally decades of their lives, and they have nothing to show for it except a bad attitude and loads of insecurity.
I'll never forget the time that I went on a date with this man.
Every time I think we take 2 steps forward, we end up taking 5 steps back in this dating pool. Few discretion is advised.
And on the date, like long story short, on the date it started raining. All right, we were supposed to go out to eat, and then we was going to get some work pants across the bay in Mobile. We was going across the bay, and it started raining. And you know, when we got to the place, he was like, you know, it's raining. Do you want me to park you at the door, or you know, how you want to do it? And I'm just like, no, you know, it's cool, like whatever. Y'all, why this man stopped at the gas station and got me an umbrella?
Look at her face. That is the look of pure annoyance over the idea of a man being the ultimate gentleman and spending his own money to buy her an umbrella to protect her from the rain. It's crap like this that just proves that these women won't let men do anything right.
So we could walk in the store and I didn't have to get wet. And when I tell y'all I never talk to that man again, because personally, I just want to that's gonna make me run. That's gonna be like, ready, set, go, run. You know what I'm saying? Like, take off. Like, I don't know. If you stopping to go get an umbrella, it really icks me out. Like, why don't you go get me an umbrella?
See what I mean? See what I mean, right?
In other words, she wants a toxic man who's going to treat her like dirt but makes her life exciting. That's not surprising when dealing with a modern woman like this. But anyway, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Drop a comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Peace.